If you want to die at age 60, get comfortable. If you want to be unable to walk up the stairs in your 50s, get comfortable. If you want to have a CPAP machine because you can't breathe during the night when you go to bed, then get comfortable. Modern society is killing you, and this slow death march to an early grave is almost encouraged. And companies make billions of dollars every single year keeping you sick. A friend of mine gained a lot of weight and nobody said anything. He then lost all that weight, began training at the gym, adding years to his life, and people are now concerned. I know people that are in their early 50s who can barely walk, and yet I know a guy who is in his 80s who lives independently and hits the gym 5 days a week. We literally now have 80-year-olds more healthy than 20-year-olds. So, what does this actually tell you about modern society? It tells you that overeating, living off caffeine and energy drinks, and staying up all night watching Netflix and gaming is considered normal, whereas running, lifting weights, watching what you eat, and getting good sleep is considered extreme, unhealthy, and obsessive. Whilst at the same time, we're now seeing massive rates of obesity, diabetes, mental health disorders, and why people in their 60s are now on so much medication they basically rattle when they walk. If you're new here, my name is Jay Dartmoor. I'm an ultramarathon runner, a hybrid athlete, a best-selling author, and an ex-police officer. And it is my mission to stop you from sleepwalking to an early grave through my videos and my shift-proof program. Free resources on diet, workout, and more in the description of this video, or scan this QR code on the screen right now. The modern poison is exactly this. It's comfort. Comfort is the killer. Our ancestors didn't have obesity, heart disease, and fatty livers. They had to earn and fight for everything what they had, and they did this for tens of thousands of years. We still have the same brains, the same bodies, and the same drives that they did, except modern society has managed to hijack our reward systems, meaning that we get the pleasure without the struggle. Now, you get out of your soft mattress, sit on your phone in the morning, gorging your brain on dopamine through social media, whilst drinking caffeine to perk you up. You drive for hours in traffic, sit in a cubicle doing work you don't find engaging, selling your time for the cheapest hourly rate. You eat ultra processed foods, you then drive home and sit in front of the television or on social media before ordering something quick and easy because you don't have the energy to cook yourself something proper. Then you return to bed and scroll on the phone a little bit more, promising yourself that tomorrow you will sort your shit out. However, that tomorrow never seems to come. And you wonder why you are overweight, sick, tired, depressed, and fucking hate your life. We are anesthetizing ourselves each day through junk. Junk that society tells us is just the way things are, but that, my friends, is a lie. And I am not coming from a place of superiority. At one point in my life, I was horrifically underweight. I wanted to leave this planet. I was riddled with mental health issues, extremely sleep deprived to the point I was hallucinating. I was borderline psychotic. My relationships were volatile. I was drinking 2 to 3 bottles of wine a night just to try and get to sleep, working 18 hours a day, 6 days a week for next to no pay. I had so much ambition, which I didn't know what to do with. But I was just stuck in this doom cycle. By society's standards of feeling comfortable and happy, I was having a great time, but I've never been more miserable in my entire life. This is exactly what was destroying me and is destroying so many others. And eventually, after enough trial, error, and fucking up, I figured out how to get out of this rut I found myself in. And not only did it save my life back then and add years to my life in the long run, but it also helped me help countless other people who are in the exact same position. And it all came down to one thing. Comfort is the poison of a happy, strong existence. And that poison is resistance. And the only way to overcome poison and resistance is through doing hard shit. Now, am I saying that you have to go out and run a marathon a day? No. Rest is important. But grind culture and people on social media will have you say and have you believe that you should never rest and should only stop when the work is done. That, my friends, is bullshit. And that is the other extreme of this very toxic coin. And what we want to do is flip that coin and make it land on its edge. Any Legacy of Kane fans out there will get that reference. But joking aside, rest is essential. And it is a luxury that our ancestors just didn't have, because if our ancestors rested, they would die. But modern life has condemned struggle. And billions are made every year by companies that are designed to sedate you into eating fatty processed foods that you literally cannot stop eating once you start, because that's how they're designed. that stress and high blood pressure is considered normal. I've got a friend who's in his 30s and he's on high blood pressure medication. And he's like, well, I'm in my 30s. You're not supposed to be on high blood pressure medication in your 30s. Like, that's not normal. We're told that hating your job is just part of life and that going to bed at a reasonable time is considered obsessing over your health. So, here are the exact tools which I teach people inside my shift worker community filled with nurses, police officers, even busy parents and others who are sick of having little energy, having terrible mental health, no libido, and having no drive. And if you want to not only improve your quality of life, but ensure you live deep into old age with your body and mind still intact, then make sure you sign up to my 14 Ways in 14 Days via the link in this video. The solution to this is simple, but it's not easy. However, you can start to maintain and regain your life back by just 5 minutes a day. Modern working does not allow us to get up and go to sleep with the sun. We have alarm clocks, start times, commutes, school runs, shift work. In other words, modern life has been built in a way that is keeping us sick. And we have to take control back. In the evening, dim the lights, have a digital sunset, turn off the TV, listen to some relaxing music. I personally quite like lo fi, and have a caffeine cut-off point during the day and make sure you have a bedtime. And I do not care if you're in your 40s. Staying up late is not cool. And it's a one way ticket to poor health. If you do work shifts, have a decompression routine when you get home, create darkness and a proper sleeping environment, blackout blinds, white noise, make your sleeping space quite cool. The second way is eat whole foods about 80% of the time. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a pizza or a takeaway once in a while, but the key is that we see these things as a treat and not just a go to. Eat whole foods day to day, lean meats, vegetables, simple carbohydrates. Take food with you to work, and this will help you sleep, increase your energy, lose weight, crave less sugar, save you money, and make you feel like you've actually accomplished something during the day because you didn't let resistance win. But more on resistance in just a second. The third one is something I like to call the 5 minute rule. Basically, remove the phrase, I don't want to do that from your vocabulary. Whipping the hoover around, making your bed, cleaning up. What would future you wish past you had done? And if it takes less than 5 minutes, then just do it. Your environment is a direct reflection of your mental state. The amount of homes I went into when I was a police officer that were in a complete disarray, and it turns out the person had a lot of mental health conditions. By cleaning up our environment, we clean up our mind. The next one is movement. Stretch in the morning or after sitting for long periods of time. Go for a walk on your lunch break or during the day. Get to the gym 3 or 4 times a week and lift weights. Resistance training is essential and very important to longevity. Or if you can't get to the gym, buy a kettlebell and do a home workout. And actually have a home workout with a kettlebell in the description video, which will take you less than 30 minutes. And the last one, guys, the last one, what I will say you have to do is you have to seek out discomfort. Now, it doesn't have to be a marathon or an ice bath, although I actually enjoy an ice bath, albeit they're horrible. But you have to go to war with resistance every day. Every time you're faced with something difficult, be that a decision, a run, a creative endeavor, a task you've been putting off for a while, two parts of your brain go to war. One which says no and one which says yes. The part that says no doesn't want you to succeed and doesn't care about your health and your well being. It's a selfish bastard and it must be stopped. But we must learn to shut that whiny bitch part of our brain up. And the only way that we do that is when we are faced with something we don't want to do, we decide to do it anyway. And trust me, guys, it takes a lot of practice. But the more you do it, imagine it's like a muscle flexing. The more you flex that muscle of, no, I have to do this, it's going to suck, but I'm going to get it done, the easier it is in the future to make sure you are able to do it. Don't let resistance win. Don't let that voice in your head which says, don't do that, it's uncomfortable. Don't do that, it'll hurt. Don't do that, I can't be asked. Like, no, get it done. And you'll feel miles better for it in the long run. Now, all these things are incredibly important, but if I just had to pick one to focus on, it would 100% be sleep. Sleep, if it could be bottled, would likely be banned. That's how powerful sleep is when it comes to our performance enhancer, our mood enhancer, how it regulates our hormones, how it makes us feel during the day. And and how it impacts our mental health and stress levels. Yet, sleep is the thing which is often the most neglected: caffeine, sugar, not taking care of ourselves. And we wonder why we are often so exhausted all of the time. And let me put it this way: if you don't fix your sleep, everything else gets much harder and falls by the wayside. So, this is why I suggest you watch this video right here to figure out why you are always tired and how to supercharge your energy and change your life.